Our next session is the case studies on how to leverage Hong Kong's advantage to tap into the opportunities in the GBA. We're privileged to have invited distinguished guests to share with us today. 那接下来的环节呢，我们非常荣幸邀请到2位重量级的企业嘉宾，为我们分享一下如何利用香港的优势进入大湾区的成功案例。First of all, we will be welcoming on stage Ms. Rose Kay, Managing Director, Head, Local Corporates, Client Coverage Corporate, Commercial and Institutional Banking Hong Kong, Standard Chartered Bank, to come on stage and share her experience with us. 首先，我们掌声欢迎渣打银行董事总经理、本地企业主管、香港企业金融机构及商业银行部季露喜女士来到台上，我们分享。掌声再一次欢迎季女士。
Everybody. Today's topic is a question that my client asked me a lot. I run the local corporate business in Hong Kong and for Standard Chartered. So my clients typically ask me, what's in it for me for GBA, how to leverage Hong Kong advantage to tap into the GBA. So I was only given 8 minutes to cover this topic. So typically we spend hours to go through a lot of advantages in Hong Kong to our clients. But then I'll attempt to summarize some of the key areas, some of the major areas that perhaps is worth exploring and in 8 minutes, and we can definitely spend a bit more time to talk more like during the coffee chat. So all right. So Hong Kong, this is just a page that I think everyone knows, like GBA 9+2 cities, and Hong Kong is being tasked to be in the outline development plan that was launched in 2019. It was tasked to be the International Financial Center and the International Assets and Risk Management Center, as well as the leading offshore renminbi hub. So these are the 3 major roles that the central Chinese government has actually mandated Hong Kong to do. And on the next topic is on the dual circulation. I'm sure this is something that everyone knows about, but what I wanted to highlight here is Hong Kong's role as the conduits to both the domestic circulation and international circulation. For the domestic circulation, I wanted to highlight the innovation capability, which I will spend a bit more time to talk about. And then on the international circulation, here it mentions financial sector. So again, this is actually playing to our strength in Hong Kong. So just bear with me. These are the 2 areas that I think Hong Kong can actually help promote a lot in terms of driving the national agenda. So the 4 very important areas that I wanted to just touch on, given the limited time, these are firstly, Super Connector, the CONNEX program. Secondly, driving renminbi internationalization. Number 3, technology and innovation sector. And number 4, sustainable finance. So on the first area, CONNEX program. So I think all of us heard about Stock Connect, Bond Connect, Wealth Management Connect. These are the 3 connects that have actually been launched already. And Hong Kong has been actually very successful in helping China to promote mutual market recognition. And what I think the Chinese government is very keen to do right now is to increase the mobility of renminbi financial assets. And the CONNEX program is actually helping a lot in the national agenda to drive the mobility of renminbi financial assets. So I'm not going to go into detail on the Stock Connect and Bond Connect because I think we all know how successful these connects are. And actually, these connects have actually evolved over time. For example, last year we see the launch of Southbound Bond Connect. Which actually allows the Chinese investors to come to Hong Kong to buy bonds. And just like this week in the policy address, our CE has mentioned that in the Southbound Bond Connect, they are also going to increase the trading and distribution of dim sum bond in Hong Kong to enable the Chinese investors to buy dim sum bond in Hong Kong as well. So that is on the Stock Connects. But then what is actually particularly interesting in the GBA context are the 2 other connects, which is the Wealth Management Connect and the Insurance Connect. So these are the 2 connects that will only be applicable to the GBA residents and the GBA companies. So the Wealth Management Connect, which was launched last year, this is actually the first ever Connect program that actually allow individuals to buy wealth management products in Hong Kong. And I think that there's some very important strategic importance to the Wealth Management Connects, because I think if you look at the overall sort of macro environment, China is facing aging population. And one thing that is very important for China now is to ensure that the people can actually diversify its pension as well as saving returns. And that is something that, especially in light of the property market and also the lower yield in China now, like China is going through, there's a policy diversion. We all know that like there's a monetary policy diversion between China and the rest of the world when China is lowering interest rate, whereas the world is hiking rate. So in order to ensure that the pensioners in China are actually able to enjoy better return globally, it is important for them to be able to diversify their pension and investment into other markets as well. And that is exactly what Wealth Management Connect is doing, to allow GBA residents that are living in the GBA to come to Hong Kong to invest in wealth management products. So they can, at least they can do a US dollar saving, which allows them to get 4% return, right? So that I think is something that I think would have strategic importance to the individuals in China. And the second thing is Insurance Connect. That is something that has been talking for quite some time since the launch of the whole GBA concept. And essentially the Insurance Connect is to allow some sort of after-sales service center to be set up in Nansha and Qianhai, so two of the GBA mainland cities, to provide support to residents in the GBA who have actually purchased insurance policy in Hong Kong. So they allow these individuals in the GBAs to be given certain sort of after-sales insurance support. So that is something that again, has been mentioned in the policy address this year, and hopefully this week, and hopefully the Insurance Connect will be launched as well. And other than that, we also heard about ETF Connect and Swap Connect, and that is not GBA specific. And again, that is something that Hong Kong is very well positioned to do in terms of connecting China with the rest of the world. The second part I want to talk about is renminbi internationalization. Without going through these numbers, what I wanted to highlight is that China apparently is very keen to drive its renminbi internationalization agenda and to expand the use of renminbi for both trade and investment. So just now we talk about investment. What about trade settlement? So a lot of my corporate clients actually who are, of course, like Hong Kong enterprises, and they have factories in the GBA, and so they have to actually mobilize their liquidity across the border. So they need to, for example, remit funds from Hong Kong to China for their working capital needs, and when they have like sales in China, they need to remit surplus cash back to Hong Kong. So GBA actually have certain types of treasury management schemes, including cash pooling schemes, which allow corporates in the region to efficiently mobilize their liquidity across the border, which enable them to optimize their cash management use. And that is something that I've actually seen quite a lot of my corporate clients are doing. And that is one part of the capital account liberalization in China. So you probably know that in China, given certain capital control requirement, there are certain restrictions as to how you can mobilize the liquidity across the border. But GBA is actually a very good testing ground for a lot of these innovation in terms of cross-border renminbi trade settlement. And actually, we are already seeing quite a lot of policies that are already in place in the GBA, including Nansha Circle and quite a number of cities there. So that is something that is worth watching out for. Another area is on the renminbi hedging or risk management tools. So in the GBA, including Hong Kong as well, like Hong Kong has the biggest RMB liquidity pool. So here you see that like Hong Kong has 1 trillion of renminbi deposit. For the whole of offshore renminbi market, the liquidity size is 1.5. So that means Hong Kong actually has 2/3 of the offshore renminbi liquidity pool. And we have the fact that we have very in-depth liquidity pool allow us to offer a whole suite of risk management product or investment products to our corporate clients. And especially given the current volatile market, is very important for our clients to enter into FX or interest rate risk hedging tools. And this is also exactly why I think this week when our chief executive mentioned about renminbi, how to promote renminbi, he specifically mentioned that it's important for the Hong Kong financial industries to come up with efficient tools, investment tools and hedging tools to allow the market participants to make good use of the renminbi liquidity. Third topic is, the third topic that I want to talk about is very quickly the innovation and technology. So it goes without saying, GBA is the Silicon Valley of China. So that means technology and innovation is there. And we, again, in the policy address, like this week, we heard about Northern Metropolis, which actually was also in the last policy address. So I've actually, I was very excited about this area because I'm very convinced that the whole GBA construct is very well catered for technology and innovation because you have the best university here in Hong Kong, 5 top 100 universities here in Hong Kong, and also so you have very good R&D, and then you can actually commercialize it in the GBA with a lot of advanced manufacturing set up in Shenzhen, Dongguan, and all these factories, and then you also have very advanced transportation infrastructure to export them out. So GBA provides a very good environment to allow technology and innovation sector, the startups there, to grow. And not to mention, I have a lot of clients who are going through their Series A to F fundraising, and you have all sort of VC and PE funds in Hong Kong, which allows them to tap into financing to help them with their early growth. And then after that, of course, they can go for IPOs or other venture debts and other financing in Hong Kong. So that is something that I think is an area that both the GBA and also the Hong Kong government is very committed to do. Finally, sustainable finance, again, a very important topic. As we all know, China is aiming to achieve carbon neutrality by 2060. Hong Kong is aiming to do so by 2050. In order for China to do that, it is estimated that China needs around 100 to 500 trillion renminbi to achieve the carbon neutrality in the next 30 to 40 years. So that means you need money to finance the transition from high carbon to low carbon sort of environment. And these are all sort of financing that Hong Kong can do, and how Hong Kong can help the GBA and also Hong Kong as a whole to achieve carbon neutrality. So just my final take on this, how do we explore opportunities in the GBA? Firstly, look at GBA as one market, because I think in the past we typically at least look at GBA as 3 markets: Hong Kong, Macau, and the 9 cities. So we should actually look at GBA as a holistic place, and how do we sort of help each other. The second thing is that equip yourself with knowledge on both sides, because again, Hong Kong is quite unique in terms of its one country, 2 system policy, and also China has its own policies as well. So how do you ensure that you have the talents in-house who can actually bridge the gap, who can actually understand both sides of the benefits on the both sides, and in order to capitalize on the opportunities. And number 3 is be agile. There are a lot of changes. I've actually been hearing quite a lot of policies that PBOC, Hong Kong MA, and a lot of regulators are working on in the GBA, and it can come out anytime. So be agile, be prepared to capture all these opportunities. And finally, be innovative. Usually when my clients ask me what is in it for the GBA, I told them that sometimes you have to create opportunities. It's not there may not be opportunities out there, so you need to be innovative to create opportunities for yourself. And actually the regulators or the policymakers are quite, I would say they are actually very innovative and open-minded. I've actually spoken to a lot of regulators in the GBA region, and they typically encourage banks to go and tell them what the market wants. and then they would then tell us what are the areas that they can help us to do. So I would also encourage you, if whether you're a corporate or in any other businesses, go and engage either your regulator or engage banks to tell them how they can help you, and then they can actually channel your request to the relevant policymakers, and then we can help shape the regulations in the GBA. So that's all from me. I think I used more than 8 minutes. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kay. I'm sure we need many more 8 minutes to cover all the opportunities and possibilities in GBA. So you can also feel free to chat with Ms. Kay afterwards. Next, it's our honor to have Mr. Charles Chan, tax partner of PricewaterhouseCoopers Hong Kong, to be our guest to share on his part. Mr. Chan, please. 接下来我们很荣幸邀请到罗宾贤永道香港税务部的合伙人陈志伟先生，掌声欢迎。
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Invest Hong Kong inviting me to share my GBA experience today in such a good event. And as a gateway to mainland China and Asia, many of our international clients look to Hong Kong to exploit new market potentials and to grasp many opportunities available to them in the GBA area. But the question is, how does Hong Kong remain so attractive to investors across the world? To answer this question, I think it's worth to mention PwC has recently worked closely with Invest Hong Kong to issue a practical guide in setting up business in GBA through Hong Kong, in which you will find a lot of practical tips and stories. I think it's a very interesting read, and I suggest you to grab a copy outside the venue. When we prepared this publication, we have actually interviewed many enterprises across different industries to understand their GBA stories. In those interviews, we found some very consistent messages. Some keywords keep popping up, like low and simple tax system, efficient banking and financial services, just what Rose just mentioned, zero restrictions on foreign investment, proximity to mainland China, of course, and free movement of capital, talent, and information. In addition to these good things about the business environment, people also like the lifestyle in Hong Kong. One interviewee keeps talking about how he likes hiking mountains in Hong Kong, and the other share how much she likes the food in Hong Kong. Hong Kong also provides key industry-specific advantages. For example, a lot of clients in the lifestyle and creative industries talk about Hong Kong's unique position of integrating both Eastern and Western culture, which provides an ideal platform for the industries. And for the innovation and technology sector, many of my clients said that Hong Kong provides strong fundamentals to the startup ecosystem due to the ease of access to the market and also top talents and funding. It is also an ideal place for fintechs to raise fundings and apply their technologies to the market, with the city being the home of more than 600 fintech companies, including unicorns. I have been working closely with professionals like accountants, lawyers, and bankers in my professional life for more than 20 years. Basically, professionals across all sectors find Hong Kong as a welcoming place to start their careers, establish their business networks, and also open their firms due to its dynamic and open economy, the highly international and diversified business culture, and also quality education system. Actually, in the policy address released this week, our chief executive has announced a lot of measures to further relax the policy of bringing strategic enterprises and also talents to Hong Kong, and also further strengthen Hong Kong's asset management industry and capital markets. I think these are all good news to the foreign investors. I would like to share with all of you a recent success story from one of our clients in the semiconductor sector. The client took advantage of the R&D facilities and talents in Hong Kong, and also the production facilities in the GBA area, and developed their product and then export to overseas market and also China market. As some of you may not be fully aware, Hong Kong provides a wide range of government schemes to aid business, such as the dedicated fund called BUD, which means branding, upgrading, and domestic sales, which have been designed for companies to expand their market and sales in overseas and mainland China. That funding is up to 6 million Hong Kong dollars per company on a one-to-one matching fund basis. We have successfully helped our client in that semiconductor industry under the BUD scheme. As a tax professional, let's talk about some tax features about the Hong Kong system. From a tax perspective, our client also welcome the R&D super deduction scheme, which provides up to a 300% deduction on qualified expenditure. That means if you spend $1 in Hong Kong for R&D, you may claim up to $3 deduction for tax purpose. For the wider general, many of our clients have enjoyed the concessionary tax rate of only 8.25% for their first 2 million taxable profit in Hong Kong. And of course, the territorial concept of the Hong Kong tax system also allows some of the offshore income to be not taxable in Hong Kong, such as certain income derived from the services performed in the mainland cities in GBA. In addition, for the clients have entities in both Hong Kong and mainland China, they can also enjoy the tax-treated benefits, including half withholding tax rate cut for the dividends repatriated from China to Hong Kong. The low and simple tax regime is not only applicable to enterprises, but also to their employees. Many people ask, how low is it? Put it this way, for a single person who earns $1 million a year, which spends like 1/4 of their income on renting an apartment in Hong Kong, with proper employment structure, the effective tax rate is around 10%. It can be further reduced if they can enjoy more allowances, like child allowance. So to sum up, Hong Kong's close connectivity with the GBA provides the ideal access point for business to expand. We strongly believe that greater collaboration with the region strengthens Hong Kong's position on the global stage. And by leveraging the city's unique location, businesses have great access to the talent, information, and resources. We hope that you will find respectable returns in Hong Kong, and we will be excited to support you on the journey. Thank you, and hope you all enjoy the day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chan, for the presentation and sharing. Thank you.